It's a classic good versus evil story. On one side are the health coaches, the trainers, the dietitians who advocate a diet based on a whole or minimally processed foods. On the other are the manufacturers and marketers of foods so highly processed they barely need to be chewed. But a recent study by University of Washington researchers point out two problems with this narrative. Number one, it's surprisingly difficult to create a meal plan based entirely on whole foods. And number two, some genuinely healthy and nutritious foods meet the definition for ultra-processed. The question we're trying to unravel is, why whole foods aren't always the best? My name is Jeremy Colon, and this is The Dark Side of Fitness, Episode 5. First, let's define ultra-processed. The study uses a classification system that puts foods into four categories. The four categories. Number 1, unprocessed, minimally processed. Number 2, processed. Number 3, processed culinary ingredients. And number 4, ultra-processed. Ultra-processed foods have two characteristics. They have added fat, sugar, and or salt. They contain chemical additives for flavor, texture, and or shelf life. The category includes the usual suspects, like sodas, snack foods, and just about anything you can pick up at a drive-thru window. But according to the research's definition, more than 90% of the grains in our diets, whole wheat bread and instant oatmeal, along with Lucky Charms and tiramisu, are considered ultra-processed. Same with 70% of the beans, nuts, and seeds. Keep that in mind as we go a little deeper into the study and what we can learn from it. How the study worked. The study used a computer program to create quote-unquote nutritionally adequate diets that met three criteria. 1, they had to be exactly 2,000 calories. Number 2, they had to meet 22 minimal standards for nutrients without exceeding any recommended maximums. And number 3, they couldn't deviate too far from the real-life diets of the 857 participants in the Seattle obesity study. The program's database included 360 foods, all of which came from questionnaires completed by the participants. Each food was assigned to one of the four categories, from whole or minimally processed to ultra-processed. Key question: was it possible to create a nutritionally adequate diet from 100% unprocessed or ultra-processed foods? What the study found: we already gave away one answer. The computer program was unable to create an entire adequate meal plan from whole or minimally processed foods, nor was it able to do it with nothing but ultra-processed foods. Only 3 combinations of categories gave them a 2,000 calorie diet that met all 22 of their nutrition standards. Model 1 included foods from all 4 categories. Model 2 and 3 included foods from the 3 processed categories, but not whole foods. Keep in mind, this isn't that surprising. After all, one of the problems with most calorie-restricted diets, that is 2,000 calories a day would fall into that category for most people, is that it's likely to be deficient in something. Another important caveat: the major stumbling block was the standard for vitamin D. When they cut it in half, from 800 to 400 IU per day, they were able to create model diets with 100% whole or 100% ultra-processed foods. Remember, 400 IU is still almost twice the average from their participants. Keep in mind, the best source of vitamin D is the sun. A good general guideline: get about 10 to 20 minutes a day of midday sun with face, arms, hands, and legs uncovered and no sunscreen. You can bump up your vitamin D intake by prioritizing certain foods in your diet. Here's some of the best sources. 3 ounces of cooked rainbow trout, 3 ounces of cooked sockeye salmon, 1 cup vitamin D fortified 2% milk, 1 cup vitamin D fortified soy, almond, or oat milk, 2 sardines canned in oil, make sure it's drained, 1 large cooked egg with yolk, 3 ounces of braised beef liver, 3 ounces of canned light tuna drained, and 1 ounce of cheddar cheese. Here are some coaching takeaways. Number 1, processing doesn't make a food bad. At its most basic level, processing does at least one of these things. It makes nutrients easier to access. This is especially true for grains, which are mostly impossible to eat raw. It concentrates particularly valuable or desirable nutrients. Whey protein is a great example. It makes the food easier or more convenient to consume. This category includes fruit juices, all natural nut butters, and ready to go guacamole packs. Some of these foods are also fortified with important vitamins and minerals. The classic example, iodized salt, which successfully addresses iodine deficiencies in much of the world. Folic acid in flour, which reduces neural tube defects in infants whose mothers were deficient in folate. Other examples include milk fortified with vitamins A and D, and orange juice with added calcium and vitamin D. Number 2, whole foods aren't always the best choice. When you shift to minimally processed eating patterns, you'll be surprised and to feel like you can eat more. Because whole foods are typically less energy dense, the same volume of food will have fewer calories, and a low percentage of those calories will be absorbed by the body and either stored or used for energy. That's generally a really good thing, which is why it's advised to emphasize minimally processed foods. However, you will need more energy. That's especially true for those who are either young athletes who train for hours a day. They may find it hard to eat enough real food to get the energy they need. You don't want them to have to digest 5,000 calories a day of steak, brown rice, and vegetables. For them, processed foods like nut butters instead of or in addition to nuts or fruit juices can be a better choices. Number 3, you can't create a perfect diet. The nutritionally adequate diets developed by the researchers team's computer program included some absurd choices: candy bars, French fries, non-fat potato chips in absurd low quantities. For instance, one meal plan included 19 calories of French fries. If the math is right, that'd be equivalent to about 4 McDonald's fries. If nothing else, it shows why computers won't replace nutrition coaches, personal trainers, or even dietitians anytime soon. And regardless, it's a good reminder that there is no perfection in nutrition, and it's more so a balance between what's nourishing, pleasurable, practical, and optimal for just about anybody. So, here are my thoughts on the study. As a coach, as a trainer, even in the new year, the year 2022, there will never be, quote unquote, a perfect diet, a perfect plan, even with exercising, right? I can sit here and create the most well-balanced program with all the rings and whistles. It doesn't guarantee that the person who's following it will 100% get to where they need to be. It's the same with nutrition, because life is life. Each of us individually is unique in their own way. Unique in the sense that our bodies run differently than what we think they do. How we process food is different, digestion, how we break food down and utilize it for energy. Everybody kind of has their own processes, just for lack of a better term. And we won't know until the body has gotten used to what it's going to do. If I create a plan for somebody or a client and they want to lose weight, they can either lose weight quickly over the course of 8 to 12 weeks, or during the 8 to 12 weeks, they won't lose any weight. And it's just a matter of your body giving itself more time to adjust to just everything, to the shock, to the change in environment, to the exercising, to everything. And we get so wrapped up that if we follow a certain diet or routine, it's gonna honestly give us instant results or make our life easier and better. The only guarantee is us giving whatever plan we're following or whatever we're doing, whether it's to lose weight, put on muscle, increase performance. The only guarantee is us giving it our best shot and being as consistent as possible, and just allowing time to be our best friend and just be patient. You know, it's just a matter of things falling into place when they are supposed to. And don't get me wrong, you can prevent and do whatever you need to do. If you need to lose weight, it's just a matter of eating less than what you're taking in, but making sure that you're getting enough to make up for the food and the workouts and everything else, and just living life in general. So I think, you know, from a coach perspective, from a trainer who's been doing it for some time, and even I've seen it, the best thing you can do is follow the plan that best fits you and your lifestyle, but understand that everything that you want to accomplish, everything from this point on, depends on your consistency in following and making sure that you are exercising anywhere between 4 to 5 times a week, you're moving regularly, you're eating the best foods you can possibly eat, making sure that you're getting all the meals that you need for the day. Again, if you're not a breakfast person, but you're a lunch and dinner person, make sure you get lunch and dinner. If you're a person who likes to eat all meals and likes to eat, make sure you get your meals, but also it's mostly being sure that the portions are being met, the quality of the foods are as high as you possibly can, but again, it should not be such a stress that you're not enjoying the process to reach your goals. So all in all, follow the plan that best fits you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe, like, share with anybody who could benefit from this. This year is going to be a great year for everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.